first community meeting of our Civic Master Plan, and we do appreciate you all for being here. I want to welcome you on behalf of the mayor and the city council, and we have some of them here tonight, and we thank them for being here. But we look forward to a night of information, a night of hopefully enlightenment, and a night of input. We want your ideas, we want your concerns, we want your issues, we want all that to be a part of this plan as we go forth. What I tell people is this is not necessarily a planner's plan. We don't want to develop this plan. We want the community to speak, and we want the plan to address what they have as issues and desires and goals, because we want Jackson to be the best place it can be. I have been working with Jackson since 1989, and I've seen a lot of changes, and I believe that Jackson can be much more than it is right now. And I believe that we have a lot of the assets and building blocks that we need to make it a place that people want to live and continue to want to live. Last year, I think it was last year, it might have been earlier in the year, we were voted #1 small city, the most livable small city. And we take that award very seriously, and we want to build on that and not let that be just a one-year thing. We want it to be something that spurs us to improve ourselves and to keep striving to do better and to produce a city that can be first in a lot of different areas and continue to be first for the future and the people that come. So thank you all again for being here, and I am going to turn it over to John Housel, who is one of our consultants that is working on this project, and he will take it from here. John?
First, I just want to thank everybody for coming out this evening. I know everybo's time is limited, and we really compete for your time to do other things. We appreciate you giving me 4 or 5 of your hours this evening. Just kidding. We'll be out of here in about an hour and a half or so. But I really do want to appreciate, as Stan said, this isn't the city council's plan, isn't the plan commission's plan, isn't staff's plan, isn't the consultants team's plan. This is the plan for the residents and business owners and property owners of this community. And it is a plan that's going to be built upon your participation, your feedback, your input, now at the very beginning of the plan and over the course of the next year as the plan is developed. The plan we're talking about is the Jackson Civic Master Plan, One Jackson. Has anybody been to the project website yet? Anybody? Handful of people. If you go to the city's homepage, there is, right on the city's homepage, there is a logo. It says One Jackson, a comprehensive plan for all of Jackson. Go ahead.
One thing I failed to mention, which is the most important thing, there are refreshments in this room at the back corner. There's coffee, there's soft drinks, there's water, there's some sweet things if you like that. But I failed to mention that, so we are being hospitable, and we want you to take advantage of it's right back here in the council's meeting room. Yeah, the restroom. Oh, the restroom. If you go out this back door, and when you go out that door, you'll go to your right, and the bathrooms are up there on the left. You'll see a little lighted corridor. So elevator. Yeah, it's before you get to the elevator. It's in the step up. So if you have problems finding it, just see me, and I will point you in that direction. But again, take advantage of the refreshments at any time. Go get you something to drink or get you something to eat. We want you to feel at home. So I'll give it back to John.
Well, I can compete for your time. Competing with refreshments is tough. So, yeah, let me do that. If you go to the city's website, so you don't have to remember some convoluted web address to go to the City of Jackson's website for the city, and right on the home page is a link for the Civic Master Plan for Jackson. And it'll say One Jackson, the Civic Master Plan for all of Jackson. And if you click on that, it'll take you to a project website for this study. And there are surveys, there are questionnaires, there's online mapping charrette design things you can do. There's a calendar of events. There's sort of frequently asked questions. What is a Civic Master Plan? How is it intended to be used? What is the process that's going to be undertaken to help develop it over the course of the next year? Now, if you ever have a question regarding anything on the master plan, you can certainly call up Stan at his office. I'll give you his home and cell number after the meeting. Call him up whenever you want to ask questions. But if you go to the website, it's the one-stop place to find out anything you want about the study and to send in emails or comments or to view draft plans or documents. As they're developed, everything gets posted on that. You can view it online. You can print it off. You can do whatever you want. So it's a very interactive, one sort of portal to go to stay informed. But just go to the city's homepage and it's right on there. All right? So again, my name is John Houseal. I'm with a firm called Houseal Levine Associates, and with me is my business partner, Devin Levine. We work with communities all across the United States. We work with farming communities of 600 people and cities of 2 million and everything in between. And 95% of our clients are municipalities. They're cities across the country. And we work with them on a wide variety of plans. The Civic Master Plan for Jackson is a long-range, a long-term plan for the city. And not just the people that live near the downtown or the people that live on the south side or just the people who live on the north side. It's everybody. It's a plan for every single area and every single person and every single business in this city. And this is just the beginning of the process. This is the first meeting, public meeting, of many over the course of the next year. We're going to be having another meeting tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock in the morning for all the business owners and operators in the city. It's important to hear what residents have to say. It's also important to hear what the people who are trying to run a business have to say. What's working, what's not working. How can the city be more supportive and more business friendly if you own and operate a business? How can the city do a better job of being a civic-minded institution if you live and raise a family in this city? And that's what we're trying to get at. So this evening's workshop, if you will, it's just a kickoff for the project. And what we're going to do is exactly what Stan said. We want to hear from you what you think is most important for us to address. We're just starting this project. So we don't come into a community and say, you know what you need to work on? You need to work on this, this, and this. That's not how we do it. We always start off a project by saying, what is it you think we need to be working on? What is it you think are the biggest issues facing the city that we need to begin to address as a community? And we begin to shape the plan based off the feedback that you give us now and throughout the course of the process. So the workshop this evening is a chance for you to begin to tell us and the city what the most important issues are and what we need to begin addressing with you over the course of the next year to put a plan into place to make Jackson a better place to live, to raise a family, to open up a business, and to want to live here. So with that, what we're going to do is something real quick. We're going to pass out a questionnaire. Everybody gets one. Don't start filling it out yet. If you need a pen or something to write with, raise your hand. I will give you one of those. If you already have one, that's great. So Devin's going to walk around and give everybody a questionnaire. I'm going to walk around and give you a pen if you need one. Don't start writing anything. It's like school. Keep your paper down and your pen down. Don't start writing anything until I give you some further instructions. So if you need a pen, just raise your hand. All right, if your pen wears out, let us know. We'll get you another one. All right, so what we're going to do is this. We try to design this. We try to get a lot of information in a relatively short period of time. So we try to keep things moving. The first thing we want to do is begin to address or identify issues that you think are facing this community. So focus on question number one. You don't have to put your name on the top or anything like that. We will be collecting these because we're going to summarize and tabulate all the results. So try to write as legibly as you can. You can write whatever you want, but brevity is appreciated. You can write a novel if you want to, but if you can say it in 10 words is preferred. But I want you to focus on question number one for now, and only question number one. And I want you to write down what you think are 5 of the major issues, the most important issues, that you think are facing the Jackson community right now. And everything is on the table. We don't want to say it has to be related to X, Y, or Z. It can be whatever you think is an issue that is facing this community. Don't worry about the order it is. Don't worry about writing your first or most important one first or in order of importance. But just write down for question number one what you think are 5 of the biggest issues or concerns. Anything is fair that you think is facing this community right now. So take a few minutes, write down 5 issues or concerns confronting Jackson for question number one. Do not answer questions 2, 3, or 4 yet. Just question number one. Need a pen? Usually it's the ones we give out that don't work. Yeah, you're right. I was going to say the same thing.
Is there a section for the trouble students?
Down the hall to your left. Yeah, right before the elevator. All right, as you're writing these and spending a few minutes, just real quick, who's lived in Jackson more than 20 years? More than 30 years? 40 years? More than 50 years? More than 60 years? All right, very good, very good. All right, who's lived here less than 5? Okay, good. I always try to get a sense of, we have some new residents, some long-term residents, and everything in between. How many of you have school-aged children, 18 or younger? Oh, a decent number, good, good. Not worried about spelling. We can read pretty much anything. But if you don't write it down, we won't know what you're thinking. So take the time to write it down. All right, most of you look like you're done. We'll give you 1 more minute. I'm one of 9 kids, so I talk really loudly and very quickly. And I don't like using a mic, but apparently they're taping this, so I have to use a mic. Okay, most of you are done. Here's what we're going. If you're still writing, keep writing. That's fine. It's important that you get your items on your paper. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to go around the room, and when I call on you, we've designed this so no one person can monopolize the whole meeting. And if you're the type of person that just wants to sit there and listen to other people, well, wrong room to be in, because you'll get called on you. I want you to share something that you've given us. So we're going to go around the room, and when I call on you, I want you to give me one of the things you wrote down. Not all 5, just one. We have a lot to cover, so we need to do it fairly quickly. And let's say somebody says, we need more dog parks. Devin will write down, need more dog parks on that piece of paper. We'll keep a running tally of what people say. We'll collect your papers. That'll be the official record. But we're going to write up here just sort of, sometimes there'll be abbreviated notes so people can see what everybody has said. We'll keep a running tally. And if somebody says we need more dog parks and we go down a few more people, and that happens to be on your list as well, if somebody else already said it, I don't want to hear it again. When we collect your papers, we'll know how many people wrote that down. What we want to do is generate a cumulative list of issues. And we're going to go around the room and give me something you wrote down, one thing. If somebody else has already said it, give me something else. And if we get to you when all the yours have already been said, just say all of mine are already up on the board. And we're going to go around till we get all the ideas or most of the ideas up, written down briefly on this piece of paper to see how a room of 60 people, how many issues they begin to identify. So we're going to start right here with you. Okay, infrastructure is a concern. Now, I will repeat what you said for a couple of reasons. One, to make sure I heard you correctly. You might say taxes. And I will repeat, because I don't know if you mean you want more, you want less, you want them higher, you want them lower. So I will clarify what you said. And 2, so people in the back of the room can hear and other people in the room can hear what was said. So she said one of the concerns is infrastructure. Crime. Okay, good. Education, the effectiveness of schools. Jobs. Yep.
I said losing hometown appeal.
Very good. Losing hometown appeal. Ma'am?
Lack of senior centers.
Good. The lack of senior centers or senior facilities. Good. Sir?
Neighborhood or core redevelopment.
Good. Neighborhood/core redevelopment. Very good.
Opportunities for the arts.
Good. Opportunities for the arts. The writing is the toughest thing. You got to write neatly and quickly and hopefully spell right. I know it's not easy.
Need for metro government.
Pardon?
Need for metro government.
Need for metro government? Okay. Okay. All right. Sir? Blight. Very good. Blight.
Parks and green spaces.
Good. Parks and green spaces. Not enough? Or the condition, or what specifically? Lack of, okay. Good. Ma'am?
What happens to the neighborhood when people move out and the houses go into a rental situation?
Okay, good. So neighborhood homes going for rental property or becoming rental, okay, instead of owner occupied. Sir?
Given to constituents tonight.
Oh, look at that. I like that. Very good. Need more business development. Are you saying in the neighborhoods? Okay, good. Need for more business development in the neighborhoods.
Divisiveness amongst areas of town.
Very good. divisiveness among the different areas of the town. Okay, ma'am?
Comprehensive workforce development strategy.
Okay.
Need for.
A need for comprehensive workforce development strategy. Sprawl. We've been in, if you see if you see a black SUV driving around with two guys that look like they're from Chicago, it's us. We've been out the last couple of days, and I think we've canvassed and photographed and inventoried probably 5.5 of the 9 council districts. So one of the first things we do at the beginning is we record and map almost everything we possibly can to begin to get accurate information of what's going on out in the city. So
Now, the employment opportunities that keep younger people from moving away.
very, very good. Employment opportunities to keep young people from moving away. We did a plan about 1.5 years ago in a town in Indiana, basically an agricultural-based community, county seat, and their number one issue is what they called brain drain. They had all these kids coming up through a pretty good high school system. They'd go off to Purdue University or Indiana University or something like that, and they didn't move back. And that trend had been going on for a while, and they weren't getting back any of that same sort of situation. So it's a legitimate concern. Ma'am? What? Hold on. Say that one more time? Okay. So the number of boarded up homes in the community. All right. Yeah, right there, yep. The need for multimodal facilities. So enhanced transit, right?
I think there's probably an image problem, which could be naysayers.
Very good. Sort of an image or identity problem. Very good. Very good. Sir? Okay. We had, she talked about parks open space, but need for outdoor recreation.
Development of a greenway network.
Okay, good. The development of a greenway network.
More activities for college age.
Okay, good. So more activities for young adults, let's say. Okay, very good. Not only do you have to find a way to attract them to stay here, you got to give them something to do while they live here. All right, we're going to jump across the aisle, ma'am. Oh, way back, yep. Moderate income apartments, need for them. Ma'am, right here. Ma'am, you're up. Okay, very good. Very good. Traffic flow in some of the retail areas. You always got an inside joke going over here. I don't know. Very good. The need to be able to, not working together as groups to get things accomplished. Very good. So not working together as groups to get things accomplished. Sir? Poverty? Okay. Poverty. Okay. Sir?
Mixed neighborhoods, human resource.
Very good. Mixed neighborhoods / human resources. Ma'am? Okay, so we've got jobs, but you're saying specifically for young people? Pardon? Clean the ditches? Okay. So jobs is already up there, so she said clean the ditches. Okay. Ma'am? Okay, so couple of different ones. Senior citizen protection and better lighting in the neighborhoods. They kind of go hand in hand, or they can go hand in hand. Okay. So more family-oriented tourism? Okay. Oh, okay, we'll get you in just a sec. Thanks. All right, we'll jump back here. Go ahead. Need more sidewalks in the city. Something we noticed right away was the lack of sidewalks in so many areas of the, we've noticed that, one of the first things we noticed. Ma'am? Okay. Family attractions? Is that kind of the family tourism, or? Okay, what's another one you got? To go do any? That's good observation. Very good. Okay, so affordable transit, or affordable public transportation. So they're not relying on somebody to drive them in a car, but some other type of public transportation. Okay, good. So, need for public transportation. Okay, sir, on the end. What situation in the school system? Okay, so just, we've got education up there. Is there something more specific than that, or? Okay, so no, that's good. So, but you sort of, with the better the schools and the education system. Okay, that's up there. Sir, yeah?
Better playgrounds within the neighborhood.
Okay, so specifically, better playgrounds within the neighborhoods. So not so much concerned about the big regional parks, but the neighborhood centric. Okay, good.
Additional incentives for local and small businesses.
Very good. And that was need incentives for local/small businesses. Okay. So enhance the green space near the highway interchanges. So sort of improve the appearance of the city when you first get off the highway. Come right in.
Yes, a societal lack of basis to make a moral decision.
Societal lack of a moral base to make a decision, or a lack of a base to make a moral decision.
Repeat that one.
Lack of a societal base to make a moral decision. That may extend beyond the municipal boundaries of Jackson. That's my point.
The entertainment venue is something that combines conference and, sports entertainment, that it's, replace the aging Coliseum and, Civic Center.
Okay.
Maybe out by the interstate or.
So need a new entertainment venue to replace the existing. Okay.
I was gonna say, geographic clicks or silos.
Okay. sort of geographic, quote-unquote, silos in town. So one area sort of is autonomous from the rest of the city. We see that in a lot of communities across the country.
You could need more pen stores.
More pen stores. And ink cartridge stores.
Actually,
Yeah, and pen trading stores.
some sort of a revenue draw, either a gigantic mall or something that's gonna bring outside revenue in.
So some sort of a regional revenue draw to get people here from all over to,
Absolutely.
large draw, regional destination, something to, okay?
This will take a few of the things we've already talked about, just an overall wellness plan.
Okay, good. An overall wellness plan.
Like Civic Pride, community fund,
The lack of it, or,
lack of it.
okay, the lack of civic pride. It's a big chance, all right.
Running trails and bike lanes.
Okay. Lack of running trails, bike lanes.
You got one.
All right, let's hear it. A golf range, like a driving range? Okay. Golf range, need for a golf range. Yours are all up there?
I don't know what you call it necessarily, but if you look at communities in this area like Carterville or Franklin, they've got pretty rigid rules in place about what buildings and signage
Yep.
should be like, and I think we lack that.
So stricter development regulations and signage regulations. Okay,
That'd be-
all right. So lack of strict sign and building regulations.
Yeah.
Okay.
A little bit more control. Aesthetics. And bike.
And- Sir?
I have two, and I can't choose between them. The first one is the north-south traffic.
Okay.
45 bypass and North Highland.
Oh, let's get that one up there first. North-south traffic. Okay.
And the other one is, I'm new here, but your overhead lines need to be buried.
It's a lot to bury, but you guys got some serious overhead lines running around this.
There's too much spaghetti, and when you have high winds, tornadoes, you talk
So,
like.
that's the thing is, everybody likes the idea of doing it. It costs a fortune.
I would love to see underground.
We worked in a town, they buried, I think, Oak Lawn, 11 poles in one block to the tune of $3.8 million, one block. So it's tough, but you're right, there's some massive, the network of web of lines around here is really remarkable.
While growing and developing, do not leave areas in blight.
Very good. So, growth shouldn't leave areas in blight. It's sort of like the idea of everybody sort of looks at the new shiny penny and they forget about the one they've already got, and all the focus goes on the new areas. That's very good.
Affordable daycare centers.
Okay.
And I have that,
Oh, let's look at that one on there first. All right, the one she gave was affordable daycare, the need for affordable daycare. We'll let you have one more since you're second to last.
I think we need a mapping of all the services for our community.
Okay.
That's the only way we can tell what we're.
Okay, so we are going to be working on that. She said we need a mapping of all the services that are available in the city. One of the things we're going to be doing is inventorying all the community facilities and services. So you'll be able to see it on a map, inventory, you'll see what you got, see what you don't have.
The underutilization of existing properties.
Okay, very good. The underutilization of existing commercial properties. Now, as Devin writes that last one down, we've got over 50, but to try to sort of keep things going, what I'll do is I'll take a few more if you've got, but we had a few people say that all theirs have already up there. We usually get to this time once to the room. Most people are beginning to see what they have up there. If anybody on this side of the room, a few people have one more, they just are burning to get up there that isn't up there, raise your hand, I'll call on you. Then we'll jump over to this side of the room. Okay?
The need for affordable
Okay? Affordable housing for low to moderate income. It might be, I think it is, but I'm not sure. Yes, ma'am.
Affordable rental facilities, you know, like receptions, wedding receptions, those kind of things.
Okay,
I mean, it's $500 just to do the drive.
okay.
4 hours, you know.
What you need to do is partner with all the churches in town, and maybe you can get that done.
Well, it's the problem with dancing in the church.
Very good. We have a river running through this community, and it's not taken advantage of. See, the development of the river as an asset, that's fantastic. People forget it's there, and they treat it like an alley, or they forget about it, or it's the red-haired stepchild they don't want to pretend they've got, or I don't know, but you need to embrace the idea of the river and do something with it. Okay, a couple more on this side.
4 new large community centers for each area of town. South, north, east, west.
There you go. So 4 new community centers, 1 for each area of the community. All right? One more on this side, or a couple? Go ahead, sir.
Usage of existing park facilities.
Of existing what?
Park facilities.
Okay. So you don't like how they're being used, or we need to be better utilize them better, or?
Utilize them.
Okay, utilize existing parks better, okay. Somebody else, yes, ma'am.
A centralized, way to communicate concerns or issues in the city. A lot of cities have what we call 311. Like Dyersburg,
Yep.
Memphis, Nashville, you call that number, and if you've got there's a pothole
Sure.
here or
It's like an information hotline, kind of.
right, or yeah. But
Okay.
also the-
So it's a better communication or centralized communication network or issues network. Yes. Oh, see, there you go. There you go. Hold on. Yeah, the revenue to pay for everything. All right, we're going to jump the aisle over here and take a couple more. Yes, ma'am. Oh. Th- Say that one more time? So the issue is the disproportionate expenditure of city funds. Okay. So the disproportionate expenditure of city funds in certain areas. Yes, ma'am. Very good. Need for continuing education programs for adults with disabilities. Yes, sir.
Inadequate funding for public education.
Okay. Inadequate funding for public education. All right. We've got over 60 issues up here. There may be a couple more, but my guess is we've got most of them because most of the hands are not gone up anymore. Oh,
We are a city with higher education institutions here. There needs to be a way that they are better utilized partnerships with various entities in the city.
okay. So better utilize higher educational institutions that exist in the city. Take one more.
Retirement communities or complexes.
Okay. Need more of them?
Need more
Okay.
for the retirees.
And then the last one would be more retirement community developments. All right, now there may be a couple more. We're going to keep things moving along here. We have 65 different issues now that are up. They've probably captured the majority of what your issues are. When this group was asked, what are 5 of the biggest issues or concerns facing Jackson? So now what I want you to do is think about what you think the 3 most important are from this list of 65 in order of importance. We're forcing you to pick and choose, and it is not easy. And the reason we do this is for a couple of reasons, and that is it's important for us to hear what you think the issues are. But probably more important is for the fact that your neighbors need to hear what their neighbors think are important issues. And we often have people come into these workshops, and a guy will walk up, and he's lived here 120 years, and he's like, you want to know what's wrong with this town? I'll tell you what's wrong with this town. It's this, and this. I've known it my whole life. It's about time somebody asked me. We write them down. He writes them down on question 1. We then get a list of 65 things up and say, okay, pick your 3 most important in order of importance. About 60% of the time, the answers people write down for question number 2 are none of the 5 things they wrote down for question number 1. And what that means is something that somebody else has said in that room, a person said, hey, I never thought about that. That's a great idea. We need to do something about that. So it begins to change the way you perceive what is important about where you live. So maybe the 3 things you write down for 2 are going to be the things you have for number 1. Maybe the 3 will be totally different. But from this list of 65 things, and I'll give you a minute or 2 to get up and walk and read them if you want to, or if you don't have to. But you can write down the number, or you can write down the issue, write it down, the number or the issue, where we're going to be kind of voting on these. You get 3 votes. Most honest community in the nation, according to us so far, is Coralville, Iowa. Because when we tallied up the tally marks on the sheet and divided by 3, it was the exact number of people in the audience. No other city has ever done that, which people means they vote more than 3 times. We're from Chicago, so we know about voting more than you're supposed to. But 3 votes, it's a long list. The 3 most important things in order of importance from the list that you generated. Take a few minutes and write those down. 3 most important in order of important. It's tough, but see what you can do. You have a few minutes to do that. And if you need to get up to look at them, you can real quick, stretch your legs, refresh your memory. If you think you know them, sometimes people know them just like that.
Again, don't forget about the refreshments that are back in the back. They're back there in the council's meeting room. I just want you to leave satisfied, whether it be with the issues or the food. So there's still some back there, and it's there for as long as it remains. So please take it, because if it's left over, we'll take it and we'll eat it. So we don't need to eat all those sweets and then try to get up the next day. So again, we do appreciate all the input. You've been a very good group. I mean, I'm amazed at the issues that have come forth, and I'm totally pleased with the turnout. I mean, to have a kickoff meeting at 7 o'clock for something that is some people see as mundane is exciting. It's the passion of this community that's going to create something good, and we look forward to continuing this process over the next 12 months. So continue to think about your ideas and enlighten us, please.
I'll give you 1 more minute. 3 most important in order of importance. Okay, cool. Put on there, needs of the home. Devin's from Canada, and he just said you have to remind everybody that if they're ever in Canada and they're feeling homesick for a chest pie, they need to order in Canada what they call a butter pie, right? It's the same thing. But in Canada, he's like, what's this chest pie? And he goes, and he tried it, and he goes, in Canada, we call this a butter pie. So if you're ever traveling north, feeling homesick, butter pie. We had another one added on here, late entry, just walked up, a need for the homeless. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. This is where voting integrity comes into play. Again, we'll be collecting your papers so we'll know what you wrote down, but this is sort of a snapshot. So what we're going to do is this. I'm going to read these off, and as I read off the first one, let's see, the first one is infrastructure. If you had infrastructure written down as your first, second, or third, if you had it written down anywhere for question number 2, I don't care which one it was, but if you had it down as your top concern, your second concern, or your third concern for question number 2, I want you to raise your hand. And we're just going to put a little tally next to it. We're going to go through all these, and really quickly we'll be able to see sort of which ones. Usually there's 6 to 8 that get almost all the votes, and everything else is just sort of scattering. And that doesn't mean that everything on this list isn't important, and that everything on this list we won't attempt to address, but it shows you where consensus starts to form as to what is most important when you are forced to pick and choose. And it goes back to the gentleman's comment about the revenue needed to pay for everything. You have to prioritize what you're going to work on. So this helps us begin to establish what at least this group thinks is a priority. So we're going to go through these. I'm going to read it off. When I read it off, if you wrote that down for question number 2 as your first, second, or third priority, raise your hand. So the first one is infrastructure. We had infrastructure written down. This isn't, this is what my mom says. This isn't raising your hand. This isn't raising your hand. This is raising your hand. So infrastructure, 2. The issue of crime. Okay, hold, keep them up. I got 24. Okay, 24 total. Okay, got it? All right. Oh, add one more to that, okay. The issue of education, the need for quality education. 27. You're missing one. Okay. Jobs. The issue of the city losing its town appeal. Lack of senior centers. 1. The need for neighborhood redevelopment. Need more opportunities for the arts. 1. Need for a metro government. 1. The issue of blight. 13. Need for more parks and green space. 8. The issue of owner-occupied homes becoming rental property, rental homes in the neighborhoods. Nope, nobody. Need for more business development in and near the neighborhoods. 5. Divisiveness in different areas of the city. 3.
There's kind of a lot of those that really surround the unity of the.
There are. And that's a good question. It's impossible to look at this list and sort of divorce these issues from one another. They're very interrelated, and we know that. So what we will do when we summarize them is we will say, 80% of the people generated issues that had to do with transportation. Here are some of the issues we heard related to transportation. But we will categorize them in a way that when you read them, it means something. Issue and identity, the issue of the sort of a sense of community. There are several of these things that could sort of fall under that category. Quality of life in the neighborhoods, rental property, vacancy of homes. So we will categorize them in a way that begins to tell a story. But you're right, they're very related.
And we don't need to vote for them each time, right?
No, just when we hit it, vote for the one that you think best represents your single issue. We'll cluster them later. That's a good point, though. Okay, the need for workforce development. 5, 6. The issue of sprawl. 2. The need for more employment opportunities for the young. 4. The issue of boarded up homes in the neighborhoods. 5. And again, we heard the issue of blight. Again, these are all similar things. So just vote for the one you think best represents your answer. Need for more multimodal facilities. Nope. The issue of sort of image is a problem. The image of the city. 2. Need for more outdoor recreation. Nope. Yeah. Need to establish a greenway network. 1. And there's a lot that relate to recreation, green, open space. We'll tie all these together as well. Need activities for young adults. 1, 2, 3, 4. Need for moderate income apartments. Traffic flow in some retail areas being an issue. Pardon? 2 for that one? Okay. Traffic flow in retail areas? Nope. Okay. Not working as groups. We need to work together to solve our problems with other groups. Nope. And again, just because it doesn't get a hit doesn't mean it's not going to get addressed. The issue of poverty? 2. The issue of mixed neighborhoods and human resources that are available. 1. Clean the ditches. Need to protect seniors. 1. Need for better lighting in the neighborhoods. 3, 4, 5, 6. I won't say who, but I've seen an orange sleeved arm vote about 8 times so far. I don't want to call attention to anybody. Orange sleeved arm. Transplant from Chicago. The need to develop family-oriented tourism to attract families here. 1. Yeah, and that's tied with 34, which is need for family attractions. They're almost the same thing, so another one for that as well. Need for more sidewalks. 2, 3. The issue of public transportation, need better public transportation? Nope. Better neighborhood playgrounds? 2. Need to develop incentives for local and small businesses. 1. Enhance the green areas by the interstate on and off ramps. The lack of societal base for moral decisions. New entertainment venue is needed, so to replace some of the aging ones we have. Geographic silos. This sort of goes back to the certain areas of the city functioning on their own kind of. 1, 2. Need a large revenue draw, something that's going to draw people in from all over the region. 2, 3, 4, 4, 5. Need to develop a wellness plan for the city. 1. Overall lack of civic pride. 3. Lack of trails and bike lanes and paths. Need for a golf range. One vote right there. Lack of strict aesthetic controls, signage, buildings, things like that. 3. The issue of north-south traffic. 5. The issue of needing to bury utility lines. Okay, none. Growth should not leave existing areas in blight as new areas grow and develop. Nope. Need for affordable daycare. Usually the ones at the tail end get fewer votes because people have always used up their 12 votes already. Need to map all the existing city services so people know what we've got and what we don't. We will do a lot of this as part of the study. They need to, the issue of underutilized commercial properties. 1. 2. The issue of affordable housing, need for more affordable housing. 1. Affordable gathering / event facilities, to have a wedding reception or something like that. No. Need to use the river as a community asset and start to develop it as something. 2. 4 new community centers, 1 in each of the 4 quadrants of the city. 2. Need to better utilize existing parks. 1. Centralized communication for sort of the 311 or a better communication system for the city. Nope. The issue of revenue to pay for everything. The disproportionate spending of city resources in certain areas of the city. 1. Continuing education for disabled adults. 2. Inadequate funding for education in general. That's his 18th vote. Better utilization of higher education institutions that we have in town. Need for more retirement community development. And need for homeless care / shelters. 1. 3. Change that last one to a 3. Give you a sort of a snapshot as to what the most important ones were. I think right off the bat, education and crime were 2 of the biggest issues facing the community. And again, when we talk about a lot of the other issues about creating a community where people want to go to live, education and crime are 2 things that determine a lot of where people choose to live, especially if you're talking about young families or seniors. So crime, education, another high one was the issue of blight in general. I think those are the top 3 by far. And the rest, there's several other hits, but those are the most important. Neighborhood lighting ticked up there. Parks and green spaces ticked up there. Workforce development was up there. I think a lot of the different things with regard to economic development, regional draw, better utilization of commercial properties, things like that. But the biggest ones clearly were crime, education, and then issues related to green space and open space and commercial economic development related. So you get a sense that when forced to pick and choose, you can begin to zero in on areas that you really need to focus on that can sort of domino into improving other areas. All right, the next thing I want you to do, you thought this question was tough. I want you to focus on question number 3. And question number 3 is, if you had the power, the ability to undertake 3 projects, 3 actions, 3 things, what would you do? I want you to think about it like this. The mayor comes to you tomorrow. And he says, Jim, a giant bag of money fell out of the sky, landed at City Hall. I've had it being mayor. I'm moving to Naples. You're in charge. You got the money. Do the 3 things that you think are most important to do to make this a better place. All right? You're in charge. You're the boss. You're the overlord. You're the guy. You're the woman. You are the decision maker. You have resources that are available. If you're going to run on a campaign and say, elect me, and I will do these 3 things to make Jackson a better place? And I don't want ambiguous answers. Crime was identified as an issue. I don't want you to say, I'm going to do something about crime. It doesn't say anything. I'm going to hire more patrolmen to patrol the downtown area and the neighborhoods. I'm going to do 3 projects. One of them, hire more cops. It's a tangible thing. You don't like the blight in the neighborhoods? I'm going to demo all the vacant and blighted structures, and we'll see what really structures should remain and get rid of the ones that are eyesores and a problem. I'm going to demo blighted structures. You have the ability to do 3 things, or initiate 3 projects, undertake 3 actions that you think are the 3 most important things to do for this community to make it a better place. I want specificity, not general answers. You are in charge, you have the resources, you are going to do what 3 things to make Jackson better? Write down those 3 things. Now, I'm saying you have the money, but there's a difference between visioning and hallucinating. So I don't want you to come up with something that you know is just intentionally ridiculous. It can be costly, but if it's important enough to do, really important enough to do, then maybe there's a way to find the funds to get it done or to start getting it done. So I don't want you to be encumbered by sort of fiscal realities. You're in charge, you have the ability. What 3 things specifically will you do starting tomorrow to make this a better place? I want to hear those 3 things. Jot those down for question number 3. This is the toughest question. It's easy to say what's not working or what's an issue. It's another thing to say what you're going to do. If you want, you can tie it back to one of the issues we talked about, or maybe something we've never heard of. That's okay. I'll give you one more minute. All right, most of you look like you're done writing. If you're still finishing up, that's fine. And what I want to do this time, we're not going to write these down. I want to go around the room, and I want you to give me the top one you wrote down. You've got 3, but let me hear the top one. I want to go around the room and everybody say what the top issue or the top action or thing that they would do written out, even if somebody else has already said it. If it's your number 1, I want to hear what it is. This is sort of a way to begin to entice you to go to the website. In about a week's time or so, the results of this workshop will be posted on the website. So you'll be able to go to the website and you'll be able to see all the projects that people said they would undertake. But I want to go around this evening and at least have people say what their top project would be, what the number 1 thing is that they would do to make Jackson a better place. We're going to start in reverse order, and we're going to start over here with you.
Downtown entertainment.
Okay, a downtown entertainment venue.
Alternative route connecting South North Jackson.
Okay, alternative rail connecting North and South Jackson. Recruit a Major League Baseball team. To develop parks in all areas of the city.
Job training for students, at-risk students and their families in poverty, to fill jobs in different economies that have built.
Okay, so job training for at-risk youth and their families to fill the jobs that exist in the economy.
Pedestrian access and bike lanes.
Okay, pedestrian access and bike lane.
Six Flags West Tennessee.
Develop a Six Flags West Tennessee. There you go.
Develop a major mall, such as the Flatiron Mall out in Boulder, Colorado.
Okay.
Sustainable revenue, jobs, and it's located right off I-40.
So to develop a brand-new regional mall draw right off of 40, okay?
Neighborhood police precinct.
Neighborhood police precinct.
Build 2 more high school buildings.
Develop 2 more new high schools, okay? Liz? I saw him looking at your paper when you typed it right.
I'm at the mall.
Pardon?
A mall.
A mall, okay? There you go.
Commission a series of murals for public spaces.
Okay. Commission a series of murals for the public spaces around the city.
Redevelop the old Hickory area with large green spaces and
Redevelop the old Hickory area with large green space and local shops, okay?
Renovate all construction sound buildings with better appearance, or rebuild, better architecture.
So rebuild the unsound buildings with better architectural integrity and appearance, okay?
Use the National Guard to supplement the police until all gang activity is done.
Use the National Guard to supplement the police till all gang activity is gone. Oh. Accessible education for all people, including job training. Okay, we skipped around. That's all right. Go ahead.
I can go to some of the other, we really need to expedite our maintenance process. We're actually getting rid of blight shows. It takes so long to get it done.
Yeah. So we need to expedite the process to get rid of the blight.
Turn over that space either as library development or connected with park green space.
Good. And so when you tear down a dilapidated structure to get rid of blight, either turn that property over for new quality development or to begin to unify these properties as new open space. Ma'am? You're in charge. What are you going to do?
Clean the city, make it more beautiful.
Okay, so clean it up and make it more pretty to look at. Beautiful. Good. More activities for senior citizens. Okay. Okay, so it improved the street flow or street layout throughout the whole city. Very good. You got your work cut out for you over there.
Work with the recreation departments to have more affordable activities for family, youth, and bring in entertainment. Like we have Disney come.
Okay.
Travel either to Georgia or other big cities, 5 or 6 hours away to have family.
Okay. So to work with the recreation department to provide more recreational activities, entertainment venues here in the city. Okay?
I don't know if this was mentioned or not, but I got more brighter lighting on the
Okay, it was mentioned before. I think, who said the lighting in the neighborhoods before? Right here. Same row. But improve the lighting in all the neighborhoods. Very good. Okay, so more places and activities for geared toward children and young kids. Okay? Oh, shelters, I'm sorry. Shelters, more tornado shelters throughout the city. Okay, I didn't hear that, I'm sorry. All right? Right here?
Stop redevelopment
There you go. Don't just focus on identifying the problem, but develop the solutions to do something about it, okay? Ma'am, right here?
Okay, I remember that we had this kind of meeting before, some years back, years way back.
Way back.
And I listened to all of this and it all sounded good, just like tonight. But what are we going to do about it? We go down in groups, small, large groups, middle-sized groups, groups that get real small and then it just stays on.
Okay.
I'm just waiting to see.
So having the commitment to actually do the things that people are talking about doing, not just talking about it.
That's not a problem.
That's good.
Like someone mentioned, the four parks in this area that tie together with the fire running trail, loop, raceway loop section.
So sort of tied together to sort of the four recreational focuses in the four quadrants with a bike or recreation or walking trail connecting all of them. Okay? Ma'am?
My suggestion is, it might be a rumor that I am hearing or that is out there, but we have a major street in Jackson, which is East Chester, that was built by a tornado years ago. And I heard that they're gonna put something like a landing pad there for a trash pipe. That would be an eyesore for a major street, so I would develop that this is, so, that's a
What's the street?
East Chester.
Okay, so develop that street with the new businesses as opposed to, okay, very good. So do away with the trash dumping facility and develop it with new businesses. Okay, very good. Okay, so more development and oriented toward the seniors, okay? Same thing, okay? More crime fighters, okay? Okay. So replace the existing affordable housing developments with a new, more contemporary, less development model to take care of the residents, but in a different way, better way. Okay?
Place the Coliseum with a new, concert, convention.
Okay, so replace the Coliseum with a new convention and concert venue, okay?
I've increased teacher pay and get a retention system in place.
Okay? You teacher? I'm just checking. Increase teacher pay and retention, good.
Enact laws that better combat delinquent absentee building owners.
Very good. Develop laws and regulations to combat the issue of absentee landlords and absentee owners. Very good.
My first was gentleman back here with the public housing, but my second one is a small business incubator on East Chester and Watt, which was talking about.
Okay, so a small business incubator in the area that she was talking about. Okay, very good.
Give more money to the school system.
Get more money to the school system, okay?
Replace aging school facilities and build new school facilities starting with Jackson.
Okay? Ma'am? Okay. So increasing the patrols to combat the crime. Every area, okay, very good.
Most of mine have been said, but I'm gonna one up the Six Flags guy and hire some Disney Imagineers.
There you go.
With a retail entertainment.
So to develop a regional retail entertainment, a big draw, okay?
Provide scholarships or tuition reimbursement to students in Jackson to pursue higher education if they agree to return or stay in Jackson for a certain number of years after graduation.
Very good. So a scholarship program to help pay for the education of people willing to, after graduation, to stay in and work and live in Jackson. Very good.
A fund to recruit the very best teachers to our public school system and to incentivize those that we have and to fund technology.
Okay. So to create a fund to incentivize the attraction of new, good teachers here, to make a program in place to retain the teachers that you have here, and to, what was the last one, was to
Fund technology.
fund technology in the school system.
To provide job-specific training, modeled very much like the Volkswagen
Okay?
place in Chattanooga.
Job training is sort of a thing that's been lost in this country in large part, so.
Beautify and clean up the city that includes landscaping, sidewalks, bike trails, religious life, and aesthetics.
Okay, so really the beautification or the aesthetics, the appearance of the community.
I think some type of unified leadership, that we try to control crime, maybe more inspectors, better laws to help the inspectors going into existing buildings.
Okay.
to help those, and then more work crews to help clean up these properties, and then when they don't, the owners aren't there, they can take the properties away from them.
So a stronger sort of, and you're really talking about enforcement, the sort of the code enforcement inspection type of things to make sure things are maintained, taken care of, inspected, things like that, right? Ma'am?
To change the city image by improving the existing areas that we already have, which means that we're gonna have to change some of the laws regarding the absentee property owners, housing, life, et cetera.
Okay. So improve the appearance of a lot of the different areas of the city, which is going to inadvertently require the fact that we have to change some of those laws that govern and regulate absentee property owners and property maintenance and things like that. Yeah?
To address the crime, increase the number of guys that work the gang force.
Okay, to increase the number of or officers that work the gang force.
Revitalize our educational system by bridging the disconnect between high schools, junior colleges, and local universities by revamping the teacher education program.
Very good, very good.
Okay, now you said it was 5 months. Build the 4 recreation centers in the 4 different sections of the city. But I want to include an indoor pool. You know,
In all 4 of them?
yes. And I mean, you know, these kids really want to swim.
They want a place to
and all
go.
that. They really like that. It is something for them to do, and it's affordable.
All right, so develop the recreational centers in the 4 different quadrants of the city and include aquatic facilities or pool facilities as part of that.
Recognizing that it is resource intensive, implement a long-term plan of action to place core utilities underground.
Okay. Understanding it's a big sort of a financial commitment and long-term, but work to relocate those above-ground facilities underground. Good.
I'd like to see the Forked River developed with a walkway beside it and water sports and other activities on the Forked River.
Very good. So develop the riverfront with the river walk, recreational activities, water, recreational amenities, and very good, very good. Yeah.
Offer incentives for corporations to locate guys to increase the job.
Very good. Offer incentives to get corporations to locate here, bolstering the jobs and the demand sort of for that workforce employment support. Very good.
Return to neighborhood schools.
Return to the neighborhood school model for the education program. Very good. All right, so we've heard a lot of different things here. There was some repetition, but a lot of new ideas. So these are the sorts of things that we have to begin to explore. Can we begin to work on these things? How do we get them paid for? Who do we have to partner with? City can't do everything itself. We have to identify who those strategic partners are that can help get some of this stuff done. So very good. The last thing I want you to focus on is question number 4. And that is, what are the greatest strengths of Jackson? What are its greatest assets? What are its greatest advantages? And the reason why this is so important, and we end on this, is when you go about the charge or the mission of changing things that you think need to be changed and improved upon, sometimes you inadvertently change what you didn't want to change. I'll give you an example. Back in the 60s and 70s, these urban renewal programs that swept across the country, they went into these charming, quaint, historic, significantly architecture, and they said, we're going to take these sort of struggling little downtowns, and we're going to make them economically vital through renewal. So they covered up the old, beautiful facades with plastic or drive-it or whatever. They took out buildings, and they put in big parking lots right up against the street. They closed off some streets so cars couldn't cut through. And they tried to do these things they thought was the trend for economic development. And fast forward 30 years later, and what are they doing? They're ripping the old facades off the buildings to refurbish the new ones. They're putting the buildings back in up to the street line where the sidewalk is, putting the parking behind. And they're trying to recreate what they had 40 years ago. And the reason that became an issue is because they said, we are going to economically revitalize our downtown. So they set that out as what they were going to do, and in doing that, they changed and ruined what was most important. Because they didn't say, keeping our architectural integrity, keeping our sense of place, and keeping our small town charm, how do we keep and prioritize those things and make our downtown more successful? Well, they didn't prioritize those three things. They just said, what can we do to make it more economically successful? And they ruined those three things. Communities do that all the time to different degrees. So you have to identify on the front end what is best about where you live, what you like most about it, what your greatest strengths are, and what your greatest assets are. Because those are the things you have to build upon, and you can't risk ruining those as you do other things. So you need to take a few minutes and jot down what you think are Jackson's greatest assets, its greatest strengths, its greatest advantages, those things that you need to build upon to make Jackson good going forward, but those are the things that you think are best about Jackson right now. So take a few minutes and jot those down for question number 4. Jackson's greatest strengths, assets, and advantages. All right, as you're jotting things down, keep jotting them down. If you've got one that you want to share, something that you think is great about Jackson, raise your hand. Let's see what you have to say. If you don't raise your hand, I'm going to call on you anyways.
I-40 access.
I-40 access. Your regional mobility is very good. It's easy to get to and from here. Very good. I-40 access.
Availability of higher education.
Very good. The availability of higher education. Somebody mentioned earlier the need to sort of tap into that as a resource and do more with them, but you have it as a resource, and that's a great advantage.
Great healthcare hub.
Very good. A great healthcare hub. Very good.
I like that we have street signs. You don't know how many towns and cities I go into, and they don't even have, you don't know what street you're on.
Yeah, it's a very good point. Navigating the city is pretty easy because you can read all the street signs, you know where you are. So it's pretty easy to navigate. Churches, I gotta tell you. We do this all over the country. And I think the winner up till now was probably what, Muskogee, Oklahoma? You win. In terms of the number of churches. So I agree. You talk about a network and a potential partner to get things done. It's a network like I've never seen before. And again, we do this all over. And it's really remarkable. So I was joking, we were laughing about it, but that's an incredible resource. A lot of communities do not have that.
We have an incredible amount of restaurants for city outside.
Very good. A lot of restaurants. Very good. Sir?
I'm not sure it's being utilized, I'm asking, but the JA infrastructure.
The what infrastructure? Oh, yeah, the utility. Again, all over. I would agree. The utility infrastructure you have in place, it's very good. I would agree. Right here, yep.
Land around here is relatively cheap.
Very good.
You can buy a lot of land, you can do a lot.
The affordability of land. Very good. Sir?
Underdeveloped land.
Very good. Undeveloped, not under, but just undeveloped land. You have an abundance of it. I would agree. Very good. The hospital medical resources here. Someone else mentioned that. I agree. Yes?
We're a community of art, it's everything from choirs to symphony to.
Very good. You have an arts culture here, and a lot of cities this size or even twice this size don't have what you have here in terms of that community. I would agree. And you have, again, we talk about some of these big town amenities, you have a small town charm. And that's a tough balance to try to achieve. Sort of those big city amenities and a small town charm, that's not an easy thing to do both of.
We have a very good chamber of commerce.
Very good. Very strong and very effective Chamber of Commerce.
The people of Jackson are generous and willing to help.
I agree. The people of Jackson are incredible resources. They're caring and they're willing to help. Oh. New school superintendent. Proximity between Memphis and Nashville. The recognition for downtown revitalization. Very good. Anybody else?
The partnership between like the local government, downtown, chamber.
Very good. The partnership that exists between the downtown, the chamber, the city, the schools, and again, I think the day I was here when we appeared in front of the city council before the project started, they introduced the new superintendent. She was here, and I was able to meet her and talk with her, and told her that we would be meeting and talking with her as we do this throughout the process to get them involved as much as possible. She was very open to that.
Lift Wellness Center.
Pardon?
Lift.
Lift Wellness Center. Very good.
Well, the emphasis on health is getting us national attention.
Very good. The emphasis on health that's getting you national attention.
We have a very rich and colorful history
That's very true.
that I think needs to be emphasized.
The history you have here is a big part of your culture and who you are. And some people think the city is sort of struggling with that sense of identity going forward. You may be able to reach into your past and tap into some of that as what you build on going forward in terms of your identity or your brand. Yeah.
The accessibility to our community leaders and elected officials, you know, you could go up and call the mayor's office and get a meeting with him.
That's
or
good.
Bobby Arnold or whoever else.
So the accessibility to the local leaders.
Yeah.
Good.
Or Scott Thomas.
Ma'am in the hat? Whoop. He's good at that. Go ahead.
Don't forget about Casey Jones, bring it in a lot.
Casey Jones? All right.
Unbiased, but we have great nonprofits.
Great nonprofits. Back in the town that I live, I'm on the Community Foundation. We have a network of about 100 not-for-profits, and the work that they do when you get that network established, talking about an amazing resource, it's fantastic. Miss Tennessee pageant. When's that? I'll fly down for it. All right, anybody else? All right, we'll collect these in your papers as well. So that's the last, I wanted to end on that note, people hearing what other people think are the best things about where they live. So again, I said I'd keep you about an hour and a half, and I think we're exactly right at an hour and a half. Again, this is the beginning of the planning process, so we're going to be doing this for about a year. We're going to be addressing land use, development, transportation, infrastructure, the natural environment, community facilities, you name it. Everything's on the table. We want to address as much as we possibly can. There are some limitations as to what a plan can and can't do, but we're going to push the limits and really try to get a plan that is responsive to what we heard tonight and what we hear from people throughout the entire process. So again, I've held you here for an hour and a half. Thank you so much for your time. Please visit the city's website. On that, click on the master plan link. Tell your friends to do it as well. They can participate online in any one of a number of different ways. And look forward to events with you over the next several months. Thank you so much for coming out this evening. I really appreciate it. And you can hand in your sheets to me up here. Let's stand on it.